love fresh baked bread. I don't love kneading bread. So I have this recipe for a almost no knead brioche bread. So I'm going to make some sweet, yummy brioche, which I'm going to turn into loaves to make bread pudding. So first we're going to start with our 2 packages of yeast, or a tablespoon and a half, and then a cup and a half of lukewarm water. This is going to get the yeast activated. And then I'm going to beat these eggs lightly. We don't need to do it all the way. Lightly, just to break up the yolks. And that's 8 eggs that we are going to add to it. And then, since brioche is a sweet bread, we need some kind of sugar. We're going to use honey. This is a half of a cup of honey. And I have this fun measuring cup that pushes all of it out so you don't lose any of your honey. I use it for peanut butter too. It's amazing. And we're going to add a tablespoon and a half of salt. So I have a half tablespoon measure. 3 of those in there. And then earlier I melted down 3 sticks of butter. It's a cup and a half, and let it cool. So we're going to add that to it. And now stir just slightly, and then we're going to head over to the mixer. So what I like about this recipe is that the mixer does the majority of the kneading, so I don't have to get in there and get my hands dirty and work my arm muscles. So I have all the wet ingredients for our brioche in our mixer with the dough attachment, and I'm going to add 7.5 cups of flour, and I'm going to do it all at once. And this is another thing I love about this recipe, because it's so simple. You don't have to do gradually adding and slowly adding, and put it all in there. Now we start off on low so that everything can get it mixed together, and then we'll put it on high. And then the mixer's going to do all the kneading of the dough for me. So while I spent this morning working out, my arms are tired and I don't have to do this part of it, which makes me happy. So brioche is a sweet bread, the base of which can be used to make things like cinnamon rolls and sticky buns. Now that it is a little bit more. Now that the dough is fully incorporated, you see, we're going to take it over, put it in a Tupperware bowl that has a lid, and let it sit for 2 hours. It's going to rise, it's going to get that cap on it that a normal bread does, but then it's going to deflate. And once it's done deflating, just a little, it's going to rise and then fall. Then we'll know it's ready to be put in the refrigerator. Because brioche also has to be cold when you use it. So one of the tricks with brioche is it's a very sticky dough, so it helps if your hands are wet when you start dealing with it. Otherwise, it will stick to your hands. You can also grease them with Pam, butter, olive oil, any of the above. So we're going to take a greased bowl, pull all of our brioche dough out. See, it's still sticky. And then we are going to cover it with our lid and let it sit for about 2 hours, and then we'll come back and check to make sure that it has risen and fallen. So our bread has been rising for the last 2 hours. As you can see, it has risen, it has fallen back down again. So now we're going to put it in the refrigerator overnight, and then tomorrow we'll make bread. So our brioche dough has been in the refrigerator overnight. And here we have it. So what we're going to do now is take it out of our our bowl. I'm going to put a little bit of flour on it just to make it easier to manage. We're going to break it into about 1 pound loaves. You should be able to get 3 out of this. I'm only going to cook 2 today. The third one I can cook at any time over the next 5 days. One of the things that I like about this recipe is that it'll stay in the refrigerator for up to 5 days. So I can have fresh bread whenever I want it. So what I'm going to do is a little bit more flour. We're going to roll this out into kind of an oval shape, like a little log. And then we're going to put it in our bread pan. This is going to sit for about 1.5 hours and let it rise one more time before we bake it. And so just making both loaves in case we need both for our bread pudding. So what we're going to do, I have these 2 loaves right here. We're just going to cover with a towel and set a timer, and we'll be back in 1.5 hours. So it's been 1.5 hours. Our dough has had a chance to rise again, and now we're going to make an egg wash. I have 2 tablespoons of water and 1 egg that we're going to crack in. Stir a little. There we go. We're going to take our pastry brush and just brush the tops of both loaves of bread. And then we're going to cook them in a 350-degree oven for 35 minutes and then check on them. So at 35 minutes we checked the bread and it was still not the golden brown color that I wanted, and it looked like the inside was still raw. So we cooked it for another 10 minutes. So for a total of 45 minutes. But our brioche is ready.